It's been about a few months since I've had a smartphone, and honestly, the way I feel is quite liberated actually. I also feel like nothing has really changed that much because I'm still accessing all the hordes of information from my desktop and my laptop, but it's better because I don't have that constant, like, psychological ringing, that device in my pocket that's constantly trying to get my attention all the time whenever I go out or do something. It's like now I just have only two technological devices that I use that fill that gap that getting rid of my smartphone left me. So right here, I have this you Shining dumb phone, which costs like $30, and that has replaced my talking and texting and occasional calendar stuff that I really needed from my smartphone most of all. And I also have an iPod Mini from 2004, which replaces my need for music. And there's games on here, there's podcasts. Kind of like, just because it's not updating constantly doesn't make it any less valuable because I still go on iTunes and I update my music and my podcasts, which is old school in today's terms, but still it's better than not having anything at all. This you Shining phone, yeah, it's weird because if you look up phones that are made specifically for like cutting off social media addiction, what have you, you'll find ones like the Light phone, which costs like I think $300 or something crazy. And it's basically everything that this does, but the gimmick is that, it disconnects you from that addictive properties that a smartphone brings you. So I think that's kind of a cheap way of like taking advantage of people because like they make like these burner phones that are very inexpensive, and I honestly think this is the best one because unlike the blue ones, the BLU, which is the company, those will delete your text messages after you send them, and you can't get them back. So you have to constantly retype text messages, and it's just a mess. The only bad thing about it is that I miss the responsive, colorful text messages that were easy to access and make with the little keyboard on an iPhone or an Android. That I think is the biggest drawback. And it's not like I need the internet that much or maps because I think you can access all of that on your laptop or whatever. And even if you're like maybe confused about the location of something somewhere else, you can just ask a friend or something. But I don't know, everyone has their own way of accessing certain types of information. But just having just these two devices is enough to suffice for not having a smartphone. I've never had any like life or death instances where it's like, because I think we kind of trick ourselves into thinking that smartphones are super necessary. And it's like there's a part of us that always wants the latest update, always wants the latest technology. They always like we always want to be ahead of the curve from everyone else. It's like a kind of the selfish part of us, and it's hard to like take ourselves back from that and be like, I can just be happy with just these things, and I don't need that constant access to information that I can get all the time. Technically you could access it from this, but it's a real hassle, and it's like it's on a very tiny screen, and it's like 99% of the time I don't even bother. I think the last thing I looked up on here was like images of Tim Curry or something. I feel healthier. I feel like this is something that everyone should try for at least a week because if like I want to completely disconnect from the internet, but the problem is that like I have people that I'm playing video games with on the computer all the time. Like it's like I have school that I have online classes for. I have you know, videos I want to upload to YouTube like this. Like, it's very difficult to be in a position where you're completely disconnected because like the internet has become such a integral part of our lives. Sometimes your job requires that you have a smartphone. Like, there's apps that will only work on smartphones that, you know, you have to look at your schedule and manipulate it on. So, you know, there's that, and also just constantly having like having your creative expressions in some sort of digital format being put out, like this, for example, on a platform. It's like, whether you're on a smartphone or not, like, you're always connected in that internet sphere. And we as humans, like, we want to, like, I want to exercise like some sovereignty from that, but it's so difficult. It's like, we, especially now, like, this is a very tough time to just be a human and be away from the internet. Like, you really have to, like, make some really good connections with people if you want to, like, be able to get some substantial reciprocation of goods and services, just to live. And even then, it's just like social wise, it's even tougher because, like, who answers their phone anymore? Like, when I get phone calls, I think they're all spam robots. I think, to sum this video up, like, having a smartphone is great. It can do everything. It's just the best thing ever. But you can live without it. It's possible. The most that I felt I'd had to sacrifice from it is not having the responsive keyboard texting aspect element that I really do miss from being able to communicate with my friends with. Doing it on this is tedious, and most of the time I don't. That's, I think, the biggest thing that I'm just like, I really miss my smartphone for. But it's not a deal breaker because I feel better. I feel like I don't have that connection anymore, where it's like I'm always like connected and having to have this device in my life that is always demanding my attention every 10 seconds. Like, I can get away from it, and being away from it when you're away from your laptop and your computer at home is, I think, invaluable. But I think I'm going to end the video there. Thank you guys for watching, and please let me know if you have any, like, insights about this, if you've gone through the same process as I have. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.